Hi there folks, Scott here, and we're going to run headfirst into this week's video as we reflect on 10 years of Mirror's Edge. I'm so sorry. That's right, Mirror's Edge came out 10 years ago, and for my money, here are 3 things that made it absolutely timeless. First of all, it changed how we thought about movement in a first-person game. Looking back, all first-person games had a movement du jour. In the Doom days it was circle strafing, in the Modern Warfare days it was taking cover, moving forward and taking cover again. But Mirror's Edge brought something different. It brought flow, it brought momentum. Instead of having movement be a means to an end, the end of course usually being shooting people, movement was a key mechanic. It was something to be studied and mastered. The only other game that I can think of that made us really rethink movement in 3D spaces was actually Quake. Games like Doom, while they had varying levels of height, weren't true 3D games. You couldn't stack one room on top of the other. Quake brought us into full 3D, and that made us think up and down the way instead of just left and right. In a similar way, Mirror's Edge made us rethink how we moved through a space, how we traversed obstacles and how we used it to our advantage. The second thing that makes Mirror's Edge timeless is its minimalist art style. Now, not only is it absolutely gorgeous, but it also contributes to the concepts of flow and momentum that I mentioned earlier. Put simply, important things that are going to help you are colourful against a white background. It's called runner vision, but essentially it means go towards the colourful thing. And it's great. It means that once you get the hang of the controls, instead of having to stop and think every few seconds, you have something to instinctively just point yourself at. It keeps things flowing, it keeps things moving, and it's a much better solution than having loads and loads of intrusive text to read. And the third thing that makes Mirror's Edge timeless? Time trial gameplay. It brought you back again and again and again. I mentioned earlier that the movement in Mirror's Edge was something to be mastered, and it took a while because at first you sort of stumbled around like a crackhead wildebeest. But once you got good, you got a sense of achievement. But with the time trial mode, there was always just a little bit more time that you could shave off your personal best. And it was horribly frustrating, but at the same time, when you finally nailed it, when you got your best time, when you were convinced you couldn't do a certain time trial any faster, you felt like an absolute badass. Anyway, those are just 3 things that made Mirror's Edge fantastic, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, tell all your pals about this video, and I'll see you next week.